Oh my god, the Monogatari series! Let me tell you how much I got obsessed with this show. I've now seen every iteration of it twice over, except for season 2 of Owari and Koyomi. I drove 4 hours to catch Kizu 3 in theaters, and then had to drive the 4 hours back, and I did not regret it. I've still got the mini poster thing from when I did that, and it's cool. Last year, I put the collective first Monogatari series at around number 8. Clearly, my opinion of it has improved since then. I stand by some of what I said about this series in last year's video, namely that this series is among the most visually fascinating TV anime, and now movies, that I've ever seen. Though I cringe at myself when I name-drop Shimbo just to look smart. Now though, I have to backpedal a little when I say the story elements of Monogatari are just a bunch of stupid anime nonsense that only remains engaging because of the visual element. Because that's just not true. Well, it's a little true, but not wholly. There's not a single superfluous character in this series, except maybe that guy. But he was a badass and we got a funny moment out of him, so I'll give him a pass. What I mean is, if you see a character in the show, they are important. Everyone has fleshed out personalities, histories, and motivations. The concept of no superfluous character is taken to such an extreme that there are literally no background characters. When an arc came about where the main character, Araragi, was talking with a bunch of nobody classmates who existed only to serve a plot function, they were literally made faceless, just a bunch of text sitting where people ought to be, and I think that approach to characters is refreshing. Could you imagine if this show was filled with a crowd of pointless, ugly CG extras going on in a basic walk cycle? Blech! The other advantage to this no superfluous character approach is you can easily point to any character in the show and I can immediately describe to you in detail what's interesting about them. And if I were anyone else, this would be the part where I pretend to pick out a character at random and talk about them to prove that point, but since you and I are both intelligent enough to know that there's no way it would actually be random, I'll just tell you that I picked out this particular character, Nadeko Sengoku, because she starts off as the weakest in this series. Some spoilers ahead. At first, she's just a cute girl who's subject to some cringy fan service, and that's it, but in later seasons, that setup actually has really good payoff. See, it turns out that she actually really hates that she's a cute girl. She resents how everyone treats her just because of how she looks, and that's the genesis for a psychological break. And that psychological break sees her turning into a snake god. And that little bit right there encapsulates how this show can be so narratively intriguing. It's all deeply rooted in character. This show is primarily a series of very, 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 very long conversations, but it never gets boring because the characters are all fascinating. They're usually exaggerated in some sense, sure, but they all have some unique perspective, some weird thing going on that makes their voices worth listening to. The conversations range from utterly mundane, to plans of action, to philosophical monologues, and because every character delivering them is interesting in some way, the dialogue never gets boring. Frankly, I could watch this series forever, and I've kind of already started doing so given that I've watched all of 3 movies and 74 episodes twice over already. The characters are endlessly fascinating and fun, it's visually beyond spectacular, and I haven't mentioned this before, but I really dig the soundtrack too. I'm not going to make the claim that this show is for everyone, after all it does get just a little over the top in the fan service department. Holy shit guys, that scene with Hanekawa and Kizu 3, I watched that in a theater full of real breathing people and I've never felt so fucking awkward! But if you can learn to laugh at the series' stupider parts, then you'll find yourself engrossed in one of anime's most visually and mentally stimulating experiences, and you'll not regret a minute of it. Thanks for watching day 27 of 31 Days of Anime 2017. Today was number 5 on this list, the Monogatari series. Join me tomorrow for number 4, Bug Wars. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. In the meantime, even if you can't find it in yourself to like Monogatari, I highly recommend you look up fan remixes and mashups of the 4th opening, Renai's Circulation. It made for some great memes. Thanks again for watching, I'll see you tomorrow.